or you might be able to know. And this is about the differences between United States and Canada when it comes to immigration processes. And I want to make it easier for people, especially who want to immigrate from one country to another, to understand and be in a position to make a decision where it will be a prime area for them to go. Should you go to Canada or should you go to the United States of America? There are two important things here to give this particular distinction or criteria to look at. One is the methods of moving from one immigration type to another immigration type, and the most importantly is which country is likely easier for you to transform or to change its status to become a permanent resident between these two. And then you will be able to look other areas of differences between Canada and United States. Number one is United States and Canada differ in the percentages of the concentration of pathways to permanent residence, or rather overall immigration. While the United States is focusing more into what we call family immigration. For instance, I'm a U.S. citizen, naturalized U.S. citizen. I can sponsor my mother, I can sponsor my father, I can sponsor my siblings in one way or another. My siblings can come there and they can sponsor their spouse, they can sponsor. So one person can bring what we call a chain. So the larger percent of U.S. immigration, over 77%, is more concentrated into the aspect of the family sponsorship or the family support. So the other pathways like economic, going through work, there are very few options. And when you talk about the diversity visa lottery, it's about maybe 1%. But when it comes to Canada, the majority of immigration, over 67 to 72% of immigration, we call it is economic immigration. Meaning there are so many pathways, someone basing on qualifications. You can apply for a job while you are in your own country. You can apply for permanent residency through express entry to go to Canada. And while you are in Canada, it is easier for you to become a permanent resident in Canada than in the United States. That takes me to the second point, and this is which of these two countries is likely for you to become permanent resident faster than the other one. Obviously, it will be Canada. Why? Because ways to become permanent resident in Canada are so many ways. For instance, if you are a student, there are pathways for a student after finishing to continue to be in Canada on a permanent basis. While in the United States, just by having bachelor degree, having masters, having doctorate, doesn't give you direct way. Yes, there is EB, those type of visas to become permanent resident, but those are very, very few. But majority of the work, you need to be employed. Your employer should like you, your work and everything to sponsor you to get a green card. But in Canada, you don't need an employer to sponsor you to get a permanent residence. You can apply through express entry and other pathways just because you have education, just because education just in your country and plus in Canada, and work experience in your country and in Canada, you can be able to qualify. And there are so many other ways to go there. You can go there, and if you have any job after 2 years on your own with that good work experience as full time, you can apply as a permanent resident. So usually when I advise someone where to go, to live is something else, but where to go and the likelihood of you to become permanent resident, Canada provides that way. And when you talk about Canada, it's just a replica, also more like what is Australia is. But in this case, we just talk about Canada. So usually I advise people to look more about Canada, and if you want to become permanent resident faster, because you have more ways, you have more opportunities for you to become permanent resident than in the United States, where you'll be only, you have to wait to get married to a U.S. citizen, or you have to get a job and the employer must give you H1 visa, then he sponsor you. There are so many limited ways to become permanent resident in